This is the Build Out West podcast with your host Tony Hyde from Evolution House and Lawn Specialists and Catherine Smith from Build Bright Builder Brokers.
If you guys are looking to build in WA or simply curious to see what's going on in building, you guys are in the right place. We're here to give insight with professionals in the game, coming to give the inside scoop. Episodes are uploaded weekly, so don't worry, we don't skip a beat and you won't either. Like, share, subscribe, sit back, relax, and let's go.
Hello and welcome back to the Build Out West podcast with your host Tony Hyde and the very giggly
Catherine Smith. How you going?
Good. A false start, but I just didn't even know words there. But that might be out the bloopers reel at Christmas.
We've had a few hurdles this morning, but we're here. That's all that matters.
Absolutely, car crashes and broken knees and all that stuff. But great. Hey, so today we've been getting a lot of inquiries, especially from over east, about what's the best kind of suburbs or areas to build in. So we thought one of our favourite ones. We spoke about it previously a little bit. We want to go into this one. And it's kind of the Yanchep area.
Yeah, we want to do suburb hotspots. So for sure, number one, we have to start with the Yanchep because we get probably most of our inquiries for sort of that pocket. So
plus it's like in the top 20 growing suburbs in Australia, something like that. So it tells you what's going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll touch in a little bit, but obviously now we're having like a lot of East Coast land developers investing over there, and it is just so hard to get land, more so than anything. So luckily we have good connections. But
I'll tell you about it as well. So.
Yeah, well, let's just touch on Yanchep just in general. So what is, it's basically 50 k's north of Perth. It's almost becoming its own little city in itself because 50 k's north of Perth, it's a good hour and a half drive. So those people that are living there generally are staying there, wanting to work there. Yanchep originally, back in the day, was more like a holiday destination or seaside sort of.
And it's right on the beach.
Yeah, retirement sort of thing. But now it's become its own little city. Kind of like a Mandurah, I think, probably how that originally started.
I would like it like that to Mandurah sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, Mandurah of the North, but it's almost in its infancy. And it's exciting to watch. It's exciting to go up there.
I mean, what makes it really good as well is it's only like 15 minutes north of Jinda, and Jinda's like a main hub. And I think we spoke about some previous podcasts. If you haven't listened, go back and listen to it. Talking about like we've got like kind of 3 or 4 main hubs starting to pop up, and maybe 5 pop up in Perth. Perth, the city being one, out to Ellenbrook, Jinda, Coburn, maybe coming down to Rockingham now. Sort of getting they're all starting to pop up now where you've got so much density that they have to be hospitals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The trick is if there's an accident in an emergency hospital, you're generally in a hub.
Yeah. So what they're calling Yanchep now, kind of like what you're saying, is it's basically a live and work location. Mm-hmm. So they're now moving away from sort of that retirement seaside concept and doing a live and work kind of thing. Yep. That's why they actually the government is essentially putting a lot of money in the infrastructure for businesses. So they're doing what's called like a business centre. They're putting in the Bunnings. They're putting in all those sort of amenities. They're looking into sort of more the medical care. So there's going to be the nurses and the hospitals and the doctors and what have you there. They're looking at expanding universities up there as well. So it's more that work and study and live. And then, just all those other small businesses, hairdressers and what have you. So it's really just becoming its own little Mandurah or Bunbury, if you will. And that way it's that live and work community. They're not
contained.
So you're not having that big, long commute. It's sort of like if you're up that way, you're generally going to be living and working in that area.
You're not want to be a city. You don't want to live in the city. You might be 5'4", go up there, live on the coast. I mean, some of the estates up there are probably the fullest estate away, and we'll go into them in a minute. It's 5 minutes away from the beach drive.
Yeah.
It's nothing, right? And when I see the white sandy beaches and unspoiled, they're gorgeous up there. Well, most of WA coast is pretty gorgeous.
Well, look, if we've got to use it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think, I always say like that Yanchep is very much like a home and away neighbours destination. So it's more those... the people from England and Ireland and everything like that, and they watch
Scotland.
Scotland, no,
racist,
it's
Scottish.
Is Scotland a race? I don't know.
Did you hear that?
Anyway, so then they watch Neighbours and they're like, I want to live on the beach. I want to have coffee and just chill. And then, obviously where they can afford, you have to obviously now sprawl out. So there's just a lot of those communities that love to live out there. So Yanchep is now expanding rapidly. So much so that 22% growth in sales in terms of rental.
It's huge.
So basically what that means is the rental market has expanded rapidly there. Before it was like everyone that had bought there lived there because they were retiring or whatever. But now it's very much people renting there, which means that people wanting to live and work there. Do you know what I mean? So they're living there with the purpose that they're choosing to live there and they're not like settling down as such.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. It's 4.2% sales growth. So sales are very strong there. And I think median about 4-bedroom there is about 530. I think it will increase. You know, what's crazy is we're doing house land packages up there.
Just over 400.
Not even. I think it was like 370, 2018.
Yeah.
You know, but it was so hard. People were like, I don't want to be up in Yanchep 2018. 5 years later, you can't get land. You know, it's just how much has changed.
Absolutely.
So now it's, which is scary that it's $500,000 to get into Yanchep now, but that's just where we're at. $550 per week for a 4x2 rental as well. So rentals are really strong and in demand. And I think for like the established market, about 18 days on market to sell. So it's a quick turnaround. Obviously, land is abundant but scarce at the same time. So in terms of releases, which we'll go into in a minute. So Yanchep is just one of those places where it's such a growing, rapid community space that it makes sense for investors to invest, but also people are now going to live there. So I can't wait to see Yanchep. I'm going to say within the next 5 years. Train line's obviously coming.
Well, the Yanchep train line's early 2024, so it's pretty much nearly done, and then there's going to be another one pushing on up there as well. So.
Yeah, and it's just going to go rapid and more rapid. Once the universities, hospitals are coming up there, you know where it's going to go.
You've got Two Rocks just a little bit higher, so like Yanchep's like 10-15 minutes from Jinda. So Jinda's probably like 35-40 minutes from the city. Yanchep being 10-15 more higher than that.
Yeah,
and I mean it's right on the coast. It's tucked in. It's like a little serene little. There's like one little road in, like Yanchep Beach Road in, and you just, when you drive it in, it just becomes like what you think of country Australia, like, you know, like a coastal town. And it's all set out really nicely, so you're not like into a housing estate. They're all kind of just branched off a little bit. They've done it really, they've designed it really, really well.
Yeah, it's nice.
Keep it quaint, is that a word, quaint?
Quaint?
Yeah. So yeah, the train line, so they reckon the train will be like 50 minutes to the city. So if you do want to go happy to commute into the city, jump on the train, and it's like one straight, you go on the train and you don't go off to the city.
Yeah.
Which is
it's great.
Right. Yeah. And then you can, you come back and live your beach lifestyle if that's what you're chasing. There's also a really good golf course up there called Sun City, if that appeals to the golfers, but it's a great golf course, and that's 2 minutes from living in any of the estates that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So I think there's 5 major estates there.
Major ones, yep. So so the first one, and we'll talk. I'm going to start from like the furthest away from the beach.
Yep.
And that's and that's these 4 are all pretty much 4 I'm going to talk about pretty much. Well, 3 of them are on the same road.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, it's funny that you say furthest from the beach, but they're all so close to the beach. It's almost irrelevant. I know. And you kind of go, where in Australia can you get 5 minutes from the beach, 4-bedroom home for $500,000? You know, really.
That's it, right?
You know,
that's the dream rate for $500,000, right? And that's the prices we.
Yes.
You need to be talking about it now.
I know, and that's why it's like within 5 years, everyone's up $150,000. You know.
Yeah. So the first one is Jindawi Estate. So just to explain about all these estates, they've all got access to 2 local primary schools now. So that's coming. There is a secondary college.
Yes.
Not quite a high school coming yet, but they're all coming. And I know in the future, there's private schools. There's like a private school. So that tells you how much people are investing. They say that a private school is going to jump in there as well.
On top of that, it's also saying a lot of families are going there, right? So what's happening now is obviously there's that movement of families now wanting to raise their children and have that beach lifestyle. And they're sort of looking for that long-term growth in terms of the schools and things like that. It was funny about Jindawi Estate. I remember last year we had Lee from Parcel on. So Jindawi is a parcel land estate.
That isn't actually the furthest away. It's the second furthest away. I'll correct myself in a second. But yeah, go. But
yeah, so Lee jumped on our podcast a few episodes back, but she runs Jindawi Estate. I remember I was like, look, I need a blog. And she goes, we are releasing a next one. We have 56 lots coming next month. They were all sold out, couldn't get in. I said, what do you mean? You haven't even released it? It's 6 weeks away. She managed to scramble me one, but that just shows you the demand of each land release in that area. So it's just sharp and quick.
So go to Jindawi just now, right? So the kind of average prices are about 175 to like 180, 190. That's right. But there's literally there's not much left in there. There's a handful of, and I think they're at their final release as well, because they've been there for 3 or 4 years now, and it was only like 4. It was like they're up to stage 22A, so it shows you how much land they sold. Again, that land estate, there'll be landfalls over there, right? And that's kind of why you'd want to use our services, because we know when the land's close to falling over. Lee lets us know, and we get on top of it.
Yeah.
Especially if we're kind of hunting in that area for it, right? So, yeah, again, that's kind of the big thing about that, is there isn't an awful lot of land, so you need to kind of have a bit of an inside scoop on what you're going there.
Yeah.
But it's probably one of the cheaper land estates in there, and I think that's purely because it's probably a little bit further away.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the big play parks and stuff like that. If you go to Big Stockies or a Pete and that, they've got the big play parks. Parcel don't do that, but they're quite smart to position themselves next to a Stockies or a Pete and just go over there, because then you'll have the big play parks and stuff. So it's just smart way of working. So the one I was talking about that was actually further away was actually Yanchep Golf Estate, which is actually located around the golf course.
Yeah.
And that is almost gone. I mean, when I say it's gone, it's almost gone.
That one's been there quite a while, though.
Well, it's been there a good 10, 12 years now.
Yeah.
It's just slow. And that's Pete. So Pete are one of the major players in the land development. And yeah, that one was there. It's well established. You go in there, those houses been there for a long, long time.
Yeah.
You drive into it and it's well established. And they're just the last stages of houses, and they're literally blocks that have just never sold. They've been sitting there for a while. It's like there's not like any more new estates like stages. But there again, their prices are a little bit more than Parcel. They're probably 175 to 225. And I saw this morning that they've got one big block, but I doubt that'll be there.
Yeah. I definitely think the golf estate is more for sort of the established market or the retirees. Obviously, more the dads wanting to be close to the golf course and things like that. Yeah. Not necessarily the younger families as such. It's more the ones going, younger families generally going where the schools are going and things like that. Yeah.
Again, I think they were the first off the rank in there, wasn't they? They saw the potential for it. They probably pipped Stockies there. That's probably why they got it. And then the next one this is one that's pretty much the end of Yanchep Beach Road and ready to jump over to the other side where the beach is Vertex. So VERTEX for VERTEX. Do that.
Yeah.
And that's LWP property. So another major player. They're probably kind of level with Parcel, sort of same sort of thing. Again, they've got all the exact same amenities that the other two have got. They're all within like a minute of each other. They're really close. So the amenities have kind of shared. I mean, I think the second one or put the amenities in and you just share them, sort of thing.
Yes. How's the land availability for Vertex?
Vertex is a little bit better, but there's not, again, another one, there's not huge amounts there, but there is a couple of stages still to come, and it's kind of getting there. So
yeah, so I think with Vertex,
their prices are huge. They're from 170 to right up to 265, but that was like a 600 square meter block.
Yeah.
So
when you're closer to the beach, the land is a little bit more hilly up in Yanchep. So to develop it and subdivide it, the costs are a lot more because the ground is like a sand hill, basically.
Well, as you drive in down Yanchep Beach Road, the Vertex sits on the left, and you can see it going up on the hills. Like the rest are all hidden away nice. This one is right up.
And I think that's what happened with Vertex is they didn't have the funds to release each stage as quickly as they wanted, purely because the cost to develop those hilly blocks.
They jumped in it.
Were just astronomical. So it was more, it was almost like not like a cash flow issue, but it was really more like to release the next stage, we needed to sell this one. So that's why this one is going, although it's a premium location, the stages of releasing is going a little bit slower. Yeah. But if you can get a block there and it's ready to go, then yes.
And the next one, and this is my absolute favourite up there because it's complete beachside and it just sounds good, Capricorn Beach, right? It just sounds like, if you come from the UK, where do you live, Capricorn Beach, it just sounds majestic, right? Is that the one? That's the one I'm using.
Majestic and quaint? Who are you today?
Yeah, so this is a private developer, but it's been sold through like a real estate company.
Able.
Who we know Damien pretty well, and he's
so Able Sales, they do only land development, so they're very much, that's their space,
and they're great at it, so definitely easy to work with and stuff.
Capricorn Beach has been established for a while as well,
and this is the final release. They're done after this. There's no more.
They've
ran out of space. There's a few blocks floating about. Their prices are up there about their 235 right up to 445, and that was another massive block. But if you've got the funds in you, a 445 block wouldn't be an investment kind of block. I don't think you get the ROI. If you put like a double story, you wouldn't get like 900 a week on there. But what I think is, if you're like, that's for me and I want to build a double story and live on the beach, you've got the funds, that's the kind of area you want to be in, and I mean when it's right on the beach. So you have to think about coastal conditions and things, but that's stuff that we can help with when we go to the design in the house. But the location of Capricorn Beach, and it's literally in the dunes, and the streets roll into the dunes and then they stop, so you can, if you're lucky enough to get, you've got views of the beach. It's really, really nice. I've got a couple of clients in there.
Well, if you can get beachfront anyway, you're laughing.
It shows you how long they've been about. Ben Trader used to build.
Wow.
It's in Endeavour now, isn't it? They've swallowed that up. Is it Endeavour Homes?
Yeah, but that was pre-2019, I think.
Shows you how long Capricorn Beach has been there. I think that was there the same sort of time as Yanchep Beach, the golf course one.
Yes, yeah.
So, but it's not all doom and gloom. I mean, there's only a bit of land. There's another new estate, which is right next to the train station. I mean, it's going to be built just back off the train station. And this is perfect for the rental market, I think. And if you're wanting to, but the young professionals who come in and go, I want to work in the city, but I want the beachfront. Again, 5 minutes on the beach, and it's called Yanchep Junction. It's an over east developer called Wolf. What was it called? Wolfdean. Yeah. Again, I think this is their first sort of come out here.
I think they're based in Victoria.
Yeah. So, but when you look at them, they've done loads of developments over east, which is in Melbourne, so we know we're good with them. Again, they're the one that have actually set up the space so they can build that private school, so they must have connections for that kind of thing. They wouldn't be coming over east and investing in an area if it wasn't going to grow. They wouldn't touch it. They haven't released stage 1 and 2. You can go on the website and see them, but they haven't released them. There is a pre-release, but to certain clients and stuff.
Yes.
And the prices, I don't know, but I would be expecting them to be around about that Capricorn Beach price, maybe just a bit lower, looking at that 200k mark. I think's where the price point, 200, 220 would be the price point of it for like a 375 to 400.
I think what's interesting about Yanchep Junction is I think it's about 400 metres from the train station that's coming.
Yeah.
So the people that are going to be looking at that obviously want to have that train connection, whether they do commute or let's say they go to the footy regularly and they want to train into the footy, that kind of thing.
Having the access to be able to go 49 minutes
yes.
to the city, right?
But on top of that, it's also really smart for equity builders as well, because in terms of like resale value and things like that, if you're close to obviously public transportation, they're the prime places to invest in.
And we spoke about in the previous podcast about the growth in WA alone, the 300,000 people coming here in the next 8 years. We're either going north, south or east. We've got nothing left centrally. There's little pockets of land. But you're going to have to have like serious money to build in those areas. Again, good for investors if you can make it work. But we're going to go north in Two Rocks, not Two Rocks, sorry. It's Two Rocks, it's just above Yanchep. It's only another 10 minutes, and that's exactly like Yanchep. And they've got plans to put a train station up there, but that's like 7, 8, 9 years away.
I know.
So we need to get there. It needs to happen.
Well,
the freeway is also coming all the way up to Yanchep.
Yeah, everyone wants to go along the coast. I mean, that's the whole point of WA living, is the beaches. And I tell you, back in the day, Hillary's was like so far. Hillary's was so far, for people living in Perth. And my dad goes, there's this beachfront block in Hillary's. I want to buy it. And then his sister talked him out of it, my auntie. It was $110,000 for an 800 square metre block in Hillary's.
Yeah.
800 beachfront, literally. 800 square, it was $110,000. I still remember it. And my dad's like, no way. That is like 20-minute drive. Who's going to live in Hillary's? And now we look on the map and Hillary is like central Perth, and it's like, that now would be a $3 million house easily,
No.
And it kicks himself because I was like, if you had 800 square metre 2-story house, it would have been, a $3 million development. But you think that's just basically where it's going along the coast. Yeah, pocket change, yeah. But I think that's how it goes, and then up and up and up, and then Two Rocks, and then what's going after that,
then you start, and it's all unspoiled land, and the government are really good at not releasing or keeping land. They go, no, we want to keep that nature, the natural environment there, keep all the animals and all that stuff. We've seen it even you're down at Secret Harbour, they've got that big long area where between Port Kenny and Secret Harbour, they've got, no, we were not touching that, so that we can keep it on spoiled land, and you walk down the beach and just see the Jinda.
Which I actually love about Yanchep is you have a huge mix of not just the beach, but you have a lot of the nature parks, and you have a lot of like nature trails and things like that. Yeah. And I can see why families would want to live there, because obviously having that natural environment is good for our children,
Beaches are getting wet. They start to get white up that area as well. So they're absolutely gorgeous. And then, the suburb just below that is Jinda. Not Jinda, Jinda,
Really, yeah.
Eglinton and all that area. I mean, Amberton Beach, right? That's got, that's a Stockies. I mean, it'll be a 10-minute drive. It's got an amazing pub that sits literally on the water. You can overlook it. Coffee shop, big, massive play park. I mean, so this makes sense if you want to get that. And then you want to get that.
I feel like the Alkimos hub is pretty established, so people living up in Yanchep will probably also work and commute up to like Alkimos as well, you know, or up Turex, you know.
It's massive. Like, we keep talking about it, but it's got the biggest hospital there. It's got big shopping centre. It's got the big footy oval. It's got the basketball up there, all that, the HBF and all that stuff. So there's plenty to do, and you're only like a 10-15 minute drive, you know what I mean? And if any of the UK listeners going, what, 10-15 minutes? Get used to travelling an hour regularly to go places, because it's just what we do in WA. You just have to accept it.
All right, so that is our wrap-up of Yanchep Hotspot.
Yes.
So, yeah, in a nutshell, it is hard to get land, but there is land coming. It comes in stages, and almost you have to get the block before the next stage release is basically how it is in a nutshell. So we'll recap. We've got Yanchep Golf Estate, Jindawi Estate, Vertex, Capricorn Beach, and Yanchep Junction just coming up now. So they're the 5 estates we're looking at, and I can imagine the pricing in the next couple of years of Yanchep. We watch this space, you know.
These are in like a 10-kilometre radius of each other. Like, it's not massive. I mean, you drop down 5 minutes, you're in Eglinton, and the same thing happens again.
Totally.
But no, absolutely. So, like, as always, like, share, comment, follow. Please follow us on the YouTube, and also give us a little comment if what you want to hear about. What areas are you interested in, you want to know about, and we'll let you know what we think. Anyway, thanks guys, appreciate it.
See you later.
Bye.